Okay, so we're testing audio. Testing audio, hopefully that's okay. We're testing cameras. Cameras check. Beer check. We have our beer here. I'll open that in a while. We need to get a few more viewers before we do that. So stay with me and we'll have a good time with some beer, some 3D, some 3D printing, and just a bunch of fun stuff. So I'm not sure what more to say before we actually start going. So as soon as you check in, just say hi so I can make sure that I see that you're here. It's gonna be really fun if you get in here. Let's see. I think I just need to make us, yeah. All right, so today I want to talk to you guys about using a software behind the CAD software. So you're all probably more or less familiar with using like a 3D software and stuff like that. So most of you have tried Fusion 360. I'm just gonna bring that up for you. Might have used like softwares like Fusion 360, and let's see. I think I need to change the opacity a little bit. So one of the ideas here today is to actually take some of the data that you can get from Fusion 360 and put that into rendering. So as you might know, there is a tool here in Fusion 360 for creating renderings, and so that's just one way of taking your models, and we'll probably go into modeling as well. From that into a 3D software like 3D Studio Max, where we can well, have some fun with it, more or less. So the goal here is to create some cool designs while printing, to make sure that you can do two things at once. Hey Ogarp, nice to see you here. So before we get started, I just want to show you here as well. This is the 3D printer that's going on today. If you can guess what I'm printing, if you guess the model, it's on Thingiverse. I'll be happy. I'll send you some sort of gift somehow, somewhere in the universe. So keep guessing, and we'll see what it. We'll tune in here at this screen as well. And we also have the today's beer. As you all know, it's more fun on a Friday if you have a beer. So we'll probably look at that as well. But I'm gonna go in here first and just show you like a few of the things that I have been doing in a 3D software where you visualize a 3D model. So as you might know, this is 3D Studio Max, a software where you can get some really cool results. So this here is my 3D model. So don't be alarmed if like the whole user interface is really weird for you. It's a bit weird for anyone used to working in 3D Studio Max. So this here is a bunch of models. This is actually a group of models. So I'm just going to quickly ungroup that so you can see. These parts have all been exported from Fusion 360. So if we take this part and we isolate it somewhere. I always forget about the settings. There we go, isolate section. So this model here was just made in Fusion 360. I can probably just bring that up for you guys. So I'm just going to bring up the project here really quickly. If you follow me, you've probably already seen this, but I just want to show you the whole assembly. So while this loads, there's some new people in here. Say hi, guys, if you want to introduce yourself. And we're printing something today. We're drinking a beer today. And if you can guess the print that we're doing, it's on Thingiverse. I'll send you a gift. So that's going to be pretty awesome. Anyways, so the model is loading. Hopefully loading. It's loading. All right. while that's loading, let's just check it out. So this is a normal part. I don't know if you can see it here on the right menu, but it's called a edible mesh. Not edible, you can't eat it. That's not a good idea. Never eat meshes. So this mesh is made to, sorry, I'm just going to show you. It's a triangulated model. Looking pretty cool, right? So the idea here is that we can take these models and we put them together and we create like an assembly. So all I've done here is it's just more or less fixing them together, putting them into place, and I also made a group before, so hopefully we get all that. So there we have the group. Now, this is a software where you do 3D rendering, so it means that not only can I get like a 3D model of this, but I can also animate some light on it. So what's happening right now is that it's simulating some light on this model and creating a 3D model from that. It's actually doing it in the wrong camera angle, so I'm gonna change to the right camera, go down, and click on this rendering button again. So this here is now calculating light and doing like with material. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool. Now, if we just go back into Fusion, hopefully the file loaded. Yeah, here we go. So if you're unfamiliar with Fusion, you should check out my previous videos. All we have to really do is just to like take a part. So we take, for example, we click here and 3D print, and we then select a part. So for example, this blue part here. Now, when we do that, we just save it as an STL, and then we can import it in 3D Studio Max. Now, before we actually start working in 3D Studio Max, I'll just click down that. Most of you are familiar and have access to the free CAD software Fusion360. So I thought that maybe we should start with a file here and start doing some rendering work. So the whole idea is, let's move that away. The whole idea here is that we set up some systems to make this look a little bit better. You don't always need to do it, but I think it's a really fun thing to do, and especially having a good CAD design is really keen when you're doing renderings and Instagram images and so on. So with all the introduction done, I think it's time that we just jump in more or less. So we'll go into the tool here that is called rendering. I know it's behind your chat, hopefully you can see it there. So in the rendering tool, the whole software changes and it actually does something pretty cool. We're gonna just move this away. So if you look below here, 1 second, sorry. So if we look down here, hopefully you can see, these are actually already pre-rendered. So if I just look at one of these, Fusion360 have already rendered this. They've done it in the cloud, so this file has been uploaded to Autodesk Cloud and they've rendered the file for me. So within seconds, I actually get some pretty decent preview renderings of the different materials. So if we just look at, if you just look at this file here, you can see that those models here are more or less, what's it called, transparent, so you can actually see through them. It almost looks like nylon or maybe a little bit milky. You know that feeling when you have milk and not feeling, the image of a milk and the light shines through it. So that's what we're getting here, and all of this is already done in Fusion pre-rendered, and I can download these files if I want to do and create some cool stuff here. So, but that's not what we want to do. We actually want to check out the rendering tools ourselves. So I've already pre-done a few things here. So before we go too deep, I just want to show you what I usually do. The first things here in the menu, up here, I know it's a little bit difficult for you guys to see. We have appearances. These are, of course, the materials. We have a scene setup. We also have some decals if you want to put on some logos and stuff like that. and also how to texture the model. And then we do the rendering more or less. I know I might have some problems running here because I can't change the... Oh, never mind. So for appearances, when we click on that, we get a new window here. We can search through a few different materials. So for example, these parts here could be changed to something else. So why not change them to some transparent plastic? I think that would be pretty cool. So I'm just going to drag the acrylic red over here, and it changed. So if we look down here, they might render soon, but I think that they will keep for a while here. Here's just a bunch of pre-made like models. So I'm going to go sorry, materials. I'm going to go in here and take some chrome on that part, and maybe some old brass onto one of these. And I don't have that material yet, so I actually have to just download it. So we're just going to do that. Download that old material on this download button here. Oh, it's disappearing. It's disappearing. Sorry. So while that's downloading, okay. While interesting. It doesn't say that I have a good connection. That's weird, because I'm streaming to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna fix that. While I fix that, why don't you guys have a guess on what I am printing? I'll send some of you some sort of award or something like that in just a second. So, speaking of that, this is also today's beer. So, since we're a few people in here now, I'm actually gonna open it. So if you have a beer, I really want you to tweet it to me and we can share together. It's Friday. I mean, sure, if you're in another time zone, bad for you. You can probably drink anyway. No, don't drink. Hi Nate, nice to see you. So this is what's printing. The file is on Thingiverse. If you can guess the right print, I'll promise to send you some sort of gift. Anyway, back into the software. I do have a little bit of issue here. I'm gonna, yeah, I can't download any materials. Okay, so we'll try maybe some wooden. Yeah, let's try wooden material. Oh, okay. I need to break all the links. Can we do that? No, we cannot. Okay, so here's what's going on. So I've signed a few different materials. And hi Leo, nice to see you. So what we can do now is that, sure, it looks pretty good, but it's actually not rendering. Or the viewport is rendering, but it's not really simulating like any stuff at all. So to do that, we have to start the in-canvas rendering. So I'm going to do it. Let's see, the stream is starting to lag a little bit. We have something called photon. So the light here, for example, because of the rendering. So sorry about that, Leo. It should be fine now. Is it better? Yeah, obviously I can't render too much while streaming. I think that's what's hitting it. Yeah, that's obviously what's hitting it, so sorry about that. I guess I just have to show you guys. I know that in Fusion, I can in 3D Studio Max I can set down the CPU so it renders a little bit less. So I'll do that for you guys. But so the thing here that you have to think about is that you create some materials more or less and put on the model. that's a basic thing. And usually you design with some sort of like cool plastic from the start. So there's not too much you need to do that. You can go crazy about it, and I don't really want to do that, because if you're going to go crazy on rendering, I suggest you jump into another software like 3D Studio Max, which I'm going to show you, or Blender, which is free, or, well, just a bunch of different softwares. So before we continue, I do want to show you guys like a few settings here. Let's see, performance, okay. So there's something called the scene setup or scene settings. What we get here are a few tools to change from the background, for example. So we could change the background into an environment, and then we can change the environment, for example, to a field. I'm just going to drag that out here. Oops, you can remove those lines. So now we have the the model here on a field. It might not look very realistic, but let's go with that. Yeah, it's gonna be a big thing. And we can also rotate the environment. Just want to rotate this like a little bit more, maybe somewhere like there. So it looks like it's arching over the road and stuff like that. Okay, so before we start rendering again, because as you said, Leo, it doesn't really work well when streaming and rendering. I'm just going to do a quick rendering. If it starts stuttering, please don't be scared. It's going to be fun anyways. So rendering here. So you can see that now. You can really see how having an environment really affects your model. Now it's going to be pretty difficult to do really nice renderings in here. I could put a car in here and it would probably look pretty nice. So I usually recommend using like a studio setup. So I think we do have some environments here that represents a studio. So let's say like this here, rim highlights. And we want to, yeah, you can see the room here and I'm rotating it. It's almost like VR. Let's see, do I have anything else? I think this grid light could be better. Now it actually looks like a studio. So we see that we have some lights, a backdrop, and what else? Some more lights. Okay, so we have 2 lights and some backdrops. So let's just put the file here in between and make a quick render and see how this performs on the model. So rendering, that creates like light scattering around, which in then makes it look like the milk and stuff like that. Okay, so I think we're done here in Fusion. Or you can actually do like this. Let's take this example and take it out to the other software, 3D Studio Max. So I'm gonna take these parts here. Actually, I'm gonna save the whole assembly. Like exports. Oh man. I'm gonna save it as. Okay, I gotta export it. Sorry about that. Tell me, what are you gonna print today? Or this weekend? It's probably Friday for all of you. Oops! Camera lag. 1 second. The camera shuts off sometimes. So tell me, do you guys have a printer already? Do you have one of these bad boys printing? And can you also guess what I am printing? I'm just gonna save the files here. Yeah, Leah, these blocks here, I think it's very nice. It's super small. As you can see the filament spool on the side, it's a 1 kilo spool. So it's really nice. Let's see here. I'm just taking in some parts. So I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. I'm just saving these files here to make sure that I can take them all in and 3D print them. Just it doesn't really matter what they're called. I think that's all the files. Maybe one of these as well. Okay, so we're now going to jump into a new scene here. I'm just going to save this one and go into a new scene. So this will be actually reset the whole project. So this will be like a guide on how to start visualizing your CAD models. So we're gonna step in here and we're gonna take in some models. Leo, I'll take a few minutes, like in a few minutes, and I can help you find like a good printer. Depends on kind of your budget and what you need and how you want to use the printer. So if you just fill up the chat, I'm sure that people here in the chat will also be able to help you. There's some great guys that knows a bunch and a ton of stuff about 3D printing, and they're probably around here. So I think you're in safe hands. All right, so let's see. What do we have? So I'm going to start with importing a few models. So I'm going to click here in Imports. We're going to go to where we just were, New Folder. More or less just drag in all the models, or actually have to take one at a time. Now, it's important when you import that you want to, important when you import. Well, shares on that. I usually choose a few things here. That's good. I want to weld the models. That means that if I have 2 points close to each other, like this, they will snap together. You don't want to have it too big here, so I'm going to change this to, oh, sorry, you can't see it. It's 0.1 millimeter. I will set it to 0.01 millimeters. I will also use a tool here called Quick Weld, and that should be it. We would now imported the first model. Awesome, great. Great start. Good job, guys. We did good. We did really good. Now let's import some more. So we're going to start off here, import the second one. Same settings are saved, so just go in. Do we have both? Yeah, we have both. All right. Let's import the next one. Oh, they're the same. Okay, cool. That's probably be good. I'm just moving them together. I exported them as separate files. I don't think they remember which position they were in, unfortunately. So I'll have to arrange all the models. But that's probably one of the fun things, right? That we get to do stuff. Or maybe not. Let's see. What else do we have? We need one more model, or is it 2 models? Hey guys, make sure that you introduce yourself in the chat. I'm gonna do with this camera. Make sure that you introduce yourself in the chat so we can all like see who's here and you can talk. And Leo, for example, if you have a few seconds, you can help him with like which printer he wants. Maybe you want a printer as well. So we're gonna just jump back here and take in this body. Yeah, there we go. Now we're starting to get things in here. So that's going to be like that, and I think we have one more model. Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. All right, so I think, no, true, we have, was it to this one. No. Okay, so we have now a few models here. We can start off by just orientating them a little bit. Just gonna check roughly where it is. It's no science here, and actually you actually don't want to snap things together like perfectly. You want them to be a little bit loose to make sure that it looks real. Well, okay, that doesn't look real, so I'm gonna change that. But you do want to have some like noise and some changes and stuff like that. So this here is basically a part, one of the files. Now, what we can do here is that it looks kind of good here just in the viewport, but we don't have any like materials on it. So, for example, we have the different parts. If I want to create, let's say that this should be carbon fiber, I will have to start making a material. Or actually, in my case, I need to first change the type of rendering I want to use. 3D Studio Max can be really nice here sometimes, sometimes not. It's gonna go for low thread priority. So if we just like try to render this, sure, we get an image, but it's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. But we do get an image. I'm just gonna change some resolutions so you can see. All right, what we do want to create, if you want to have some carbon fiber on these parts here. What? Wait a minute. The chat is not working. There we go. That's weird. Sorry about that. Things are just out of order. Everything's out of order. So I'm gonna take this yellow part here, and I want to make some carbon like fiber surface on that. So we go into materials. We go to something called a Vray material. So this is now a material where we can start to make it look weird, more or less. So in this, I know this is a bunch of settings, but I just want to show you the basics. It's not going to be like a full tutorial, but it's how I do it and how you can do it as well. If there's any questions like popping up, what is 3D Studio Max? What is visualizing? What is this and that? What is the 3D printer? And so on. What are you printing? Well, I'm not going to say it because you can win something if you guess it. Yeah, colors. Well, carbon fiber is usually black, right? So we can select a black material. Now, when I look at something carbon fiber, I'm going to show you what I mean. If we look at something here, for example, this part, we do have, show picture, we get like this, it's a little bit glossy, so you can see reflections, but it's also like this carbon fiber pattern. So we need to try to relive that or re-simulate that. So we actually got some cool materials here. We can just borrow this material for now. Just can download an image, put it there. There we go. So the material needs to be a little bit of shiny, so we need to add some shine to it. Probably not too much. That's probably okay. Maybe something like that. But we also want to add like a texture. So this is just called a texture. And you add, let's see, a bitmap here. I'm gonna go where we just were. Downloads. And we add this image that I just downloaded. So when we add that, we start to get a carbon fiber texture. Now this is pretty, let's say, neat or weak. It's not that good looking, but we'll fix that later. So if I select this part here now, the shoulder thingy, and we assign this material to it, we don't really see anything. We don't see the texture. We just see that it became black. So what I can do is that I will right-click here and show that material on it. Now, we still don't really see anything. It kind of changed color. And the reason for that is that when we do models in Fusion 360, they rarely or almost never get any sort of coordination, which means that all of these small triangles are not linked together. There's no way of putting an image on these polygons. So we need to use some sort of tool that is called UV mapping, or UV mapping. So if I just apply this modifier, we can start seeing some of the results. It still looks like crap, as you can see, but I'll show you here that what's happening. It kind of looks like 3D, and we have a texture, but not. Hi Sebastian, nice to meet you again. Nice to see you in the live stream. So you can see this orange plane here, like this plane around here. So that plane is a indication of where we're mapping. So we're actually looking from this direction, and we're projecting the map just in one direction, not the band on the model. So this means that every time we have like these parts here, this section, the whole texture is stretched, because if we look at it from this angle, we still don't get any let's see. Hello. There we go. We don't get any projection from like this angle into the image. So that's something that I need to change. And let's just see here. Okay, my keyboard isn't working really well, so sorry about that. I can't draw anymore. So what we can do is here, if I just change this this projection plane, you can see that the actual model is changing as well. So I could like fix it a little bit here and help it out, but as soon as I look from a different angle, it doesn't look good anymore. So instead of using like a planar projection, we can use this flat image that we have and simulate a box. So we actually put it from different angles. Let's see if we can do that. So we're going to click on something called a box. First, I'm just going to remove that and something called a box. Now, if we look from the angles of the box, it looks pretty okay. This here is a little bit difficult, but it's more or less okay. And from this angle, also okay, also okay, also okay. Well, pretty good. We also have a concept called shrink wrap, which just gets, well, crazy, more or less. That doesn't really work in this case. And then we have cylindrical, spherical. We could use like this here and create some sort of really cool carbon fiber model. But again, we do get one area which is like really bad, so underneath here. So if we want, we can use that, and we'll just add more copies to make the texture a little bit better. I'm not sure, I mean, I'm no professional here, but I think this will be pretty okay. There's a few different tools you can do that involves like really mapping all of these surfaces, but that's not something I want to do today. It's a little bit in depth, so I'm gonna skip that actually. But if we now render this, it will look okay. It's about so-so. So still, we don't have any light, we don't have anything, we just have one material on one file. So what do? Well, we create a copy of this one, of course. Just going to do that quickly. Could have used a mirror, but I didn't. Okay, so that's that. If we go into the textures here as well, we can create a new material, maybe a car material, a car paint material. So this material here will have different settings and different stuff. So we can just change the colors here as well to make it pop a little bit. Let's make it blue. And let's assign it to these parts. You can assign it. Now we have blue material there, looking like car paint. And then we have the screws. I'm just going to hide those for now because I want to start focusing on the actual rendering. So before we do that, cheers, tweet me your beer picture, and of course, check out the printer here. Can you guess what it's printing? It's getting a little bit better now. Can you guess it? It's on Thingiverse, so you can probably, if you can see what it is, you can probably find it. Anyway, so back to the CAD software. What's happening here now is that we're just rendering without any real light and stuff. So to start doing, start making this like a real model and doing a real visualization, what we can do is that we create a plane. So we need to have some sort of like either background or just something that makes it fit into the world. So I'm just going to do something really simple here. Let's just make a table. So this here is now just like a pedestal that I can stand on, and I might do another plane just to get like some background. I think you guys are a little bit quiet. Or is it me? Am I a quiet guy? I don't know. Alright, so we just want to create like a backdrop here. So let's imagine that this is a camera scene or something. Just drag these out. I'm just double clicking to select more of them. And I then want to smooth them out because if you look here, they're a little bit choppy right now. I'm just going to smooth them out. Again, we need to make some materials on these. We don't want to have a green screen because we're already in 3D. We don't need a green screen in 3D. Green screen in 3D, screen 3D. Well, that's just too messy. Too messy. Danny, you might be onto something. You might be onto something. I'm not going to show you any more of that, so you don't get a zoom just yet. Might be something. So what I'm doing now is just creating a neutral background, like white colors. I don't want to have it that shiny. So you can see here, I'm looking at the preview here and trying to figure out if it's going to be super shiny or not so shiny. And backdrops, well, usually we want to have them neutral. So I'm just going to select this material to that part and that part. Those two get to be white. Okay, cool, we're getting somewhere. Next step is to create a camera, because we need to have a camera, of course, like this one that you're filming from. We need to have a camera. I'm just gonna make it from the top here. Let's put it in. So, and when I have this selected, you can just click on C, which puts me in the camera's perspective. So we're now looking at the model from where the camera is looking. We can actually show this by having one of the camera views down here, and we can then start to, well, if we want to, we can start just moving around different things. I actually want to rotate a few things here. So I want to rotate these so it looks a little bit better. I also want to zoom in on the camera, so I'm going to select the camera. I then get some settings over here on the right side. It's just a bunch of settings. That's like typical 3D Studio Max stuff. So I'm going to zoom in here. I have the focal length of the lens. So let's just zoom in here a little bit more. Let's say 105 millimeters, that's pretty standard. I can see that these two are floating, so let's just move those down. We do get like a camera angle now, so you just wanna select the camera and get it from a little bit above, like so. I think that looks, what do you guys think about the framing? Is it okay? Is the framing okay? If we start to like put light on this object, would it be cool? Would it be pretty nice? Maybe not. What do you guys think? So that's actually the next step, to put some light on it. Just to show you guys what's happening, I will start off with rendering settings. And cute dragon. I think we have a winner. We do have a winner. Yes, that is the cute dragon that I'm printing. So Danny, you're the right man. If you would be so kind and tweet me at Anton Manson, I think that would be super great. I will be able to maybe send you something or something like that. So you can just hit me up here on Twitter over there. Cool. Lights. We need to have some lights there. In the software again. So before we do that, I just want to tell you that you can use something called quick settings when using Vray. I'm not sure if you're all like into Vray and into 3D Studio Max, but if you are, I find these to be like super easy tools to use. I'm in a studio, so I'm going to use the studio setup. I want to have a little bit of cool global illumination, which is like the light simulation. Strictly speaking, easy speaking, and I don't need to have like super resolution because we're gonna live stream the rendering. And if I click render, we get nothing. Why do we get nothing? Well, we don't have any lights. So that's the next step, the final step, or well, next step. We need to create some lights. So I'm gonna go into here the scene again. I'm gonna create a V-Ray light. And just start off with like a top box. Okay. Proper light from the above. There we are. Now, I mean, that's pretty cool. We can do that. Let's just create a light. Let's click render. Wow, suddenly we get something. So it's actually too bright now. So we need to change the light here. I'm gonna put it into wet and put it down to 100 watts. So let's click render. And I think that looks pretty okay. I mean, it's not gonna win like any design awards or anything, but it looks pretty neat. Pretty neat, right? Okay, so with that said, let's jump into the next step. Let's like modify the lights. So still a little bit bright. If we go down to 50, the contrast and ratios and stuff like that are now a little bit better, don't you think? So I think that the car material here is looking pretty neat with its reflection. You can even see some of the specks and the flakes. That's what they're called, not specks. So those are all ready to be like cool visualized. And you can see that the texture here is looking pretty well. Let's see if the whiteboard works. So we see some cool reflections of the table behind in here. And we get some nice highlights, some lights from above. But again, all we do is lighting this from above. Of course, Leo, let me know what you need. So I think that the next step here is just to show you if we take this big light, which is now like super wide, we make it really, really small, like, almost like a dot, and make the same render. Where's the render? We get like a much sharper shadow. So this is almost like photographing with a flash. So we're going to change that back to something a little bit bigger, maybe 150 by 150. So what I'm doing here, again, I'm just going to show you. I'm changing the size of the lamp here. So we need to have a pretty big lamp that makes a nice shadow. The Eastern Dragon. Could be the Eastern Dragon. So Leo, are you talking about the Prusa i3 Mark II from Joseph Prusa, the original one, or are you talking about like a cheaper one? Anyway, we now have one light from above, which is probably okay, I guess. I'm just gonna lower the intensity, and I think that we want to add like a highlight lamp from the side. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna copy it, start to create like something from behind here, and also want to have it invisible. So let's just try that out and see how it looks. The real thing. All right. I will be looking at the BCN Sigma R17. I will have it in for a review in a few days. So if you stay along, I'll probably make like a live stream with that as well. So I think that will be interesting for you. Anyways, I'm just doing this like highlight here from the back. I will change the color of it a little bit so it's easier to like see what's happening. Now, I don't want it to like spoil my my table here. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of a trick here, which you can't do in real life. So I can't, there's no way for me to exclude light. So for example, this light that hits me, there's no way for me in real life to just say, don't hit the wall behind me, just hit me. But in 3D, you can do that. So now I'm just saying the light not to hit the table, and we should have some pretty cool results. Or actually some weird results, but they look cool. So as you can see, my highlight is a little bit intense and of course the wrong color. So let's change it back to something a little bit bright and lower the intensity, and also lower the intensity of the top light because that's still pretty sharp. So what we get now? Now we get some cool effects here, some backlight, some intensity, yeah, some very cool stuff. Yeah, it's looking good. Maybe I should increase the settings here a little bit because it is kind of bad right now. So let's just do this again. You can see some difference here on background. Yeah, it's still okay. Still okay. It's looking pretty good. Maybe we can add something else. Maybe I can lower the intensity of the top light even more and lower the intensity here. Change this a little bit of color. I think it's pretty neat to have like some warmer colors, and then we can also add like here. We take another highlight lamp and put it from the side here. And we can do some other effects, like maybe much more less, but some blue lights. Let's just have a look at what that looks like. I think that what you need to know about the Mark II Prusa, and I haven't used some stuff like that as well. Yeah, sure, it will stick on the plate well, but you don't have any heat at all. Oops, I got a camera error again. 1 second. Yeah, so about that, my camera kind of jumps in and off. Yeah, I'd say as well, if you have the budget for it, I think that a pre-built Prusa is the best one as well. Again, you need to be aware like about the construction of the machine. It is simpler. It is a it's not cheaply designed, but it's made to be a low entry machine. But apparently it performs like super well. But you still have the problems with like the material options that there's no way of containing the heat and controlling it. Sure, you can build like a dome and people do that, but it is a do-it-yourself machine. You have to be a little bit more on it and engage with the technology. So just be aware of that. I don't think, I'm not sure the BCN will be like a huge difference from that. It has more or less the same like features, but it's more like if you want to buy like a Sortrex or Ultimaker 3 or a Formlabs, then we're talking totally different experience and totally different material settings, but you don't get the open source Tinker feeling and stuff like that. So it's up to you what kind of like approach you want to do to the printer there, or to the to your experience. So let me know what you think about that, what you think about how you want to work with machine. What kind of results do you want? Do you want to like focus on the printing experience, like tinkering around and having really fun with the printer? Or are you more looking into just have the printer do models for you and you can then utilize the finished prints? So think about that a little bit, and it will be pretty interesting to see. Anyways, so we already know what dragon it was. Danny is the expert of finding things on Thingiverse. But yeah, this is the cute dragon, and I think it looks pretty nice. It's gonna be fun to see that finished. And the beer here as well, I think we need to refill it. Again, let me know if you're drinking beer as well. It's Friday. Hopefully you'll have a good weekend as well. And we can all share on Twitter together in this live stream. Anyway, so going away from the rendering here, we just want to go back here and see what we can improve. Obviously, there's something with the background, and I can probably increase that by increasing the settings. But all in all, I think this looks pretty nice. I don't have that much that I can complain on. For my needs, it's all pretty good. So is there anyone here experienced with 3ds Max? Have you tried it, or like, are you familiar with visualization overall? It would be really fun to know. I'm just gonna increase some of the things here a little bit more. And do a new render and see how it looks. Oh, you're not watching the model. So I just made a few changes, and let's see how it looks now. Okay, Lee, if you want to do forms like that, vacuum form models. Making vacuum form models, that's, well, it should be doable. Will you have like any heat and stuff like that when you're doing it? Let's see. Yeah, I know that the stream is it's lagging a little bit. Bear with me, it's just rendering. But yeah, I guess that the your models might. Okay, so we're back now. Sorry about that. I had some few dropped frames. But this is the render, as you can see here. It looks better. It's still not perfect. We have some spots here that are not really realistic. But other than that, these models look pretty much realistic. The only issue is that if we look at these parts, these are actually like telling us that this image is fake. Well, if you just ignore this part here, because the materials are a little bit so-so. If we look at these parts here, the rings, since I took away the light from one of the cameras to hit the table, we can kind of feel that this part here is like popping. It almost looked like Photoshop, that someone put it in there and didn't think about shadows and stuff. So let's just do here an example. Let's do that. Let's do an example. Can I just add my, what's it called? No, okay, never mind. So we're gonna try to change that. So I'm gonna take this light again, and we excluded some parts before, and I wanna take those back. I'm just gonna take them back, and also with the other light here on the side, same thing. Take these two back, and see what happens. So if we just look at this one here, you can see here still the images. Oops. Okay, Liu, if you need that, I would say that you at least need to print with HTPLA so that you can anlate it, which makes it a bit harder, and also makes it resist more, let's say, yeah, heat afterwards. So it could go up to around 100 degrees, which could be okay for vacuum molding. If you need more heat than that, it's quite difficult to find materials that behave well after being printed. Depends also on the exposure time, if you have long exposures. Anyway, so let's render the new one where I activated the lights. Oops, don't know where that went. There it is. I'm just gonna take those parts. I'm gonna see if they look better this time. No worries, Leo, we're here to help. So we now see the shadows are much better, but it's just much too intense. So we get the right result, but it's just way too intense. So I guess that we can just well, we'll just include those again if we can. Let's include those, and let's do this. There we go. So the thing I'm making here, this is actually part of my camera rig. Let's see if I have a part here somewhere. So I just want to show you guys the visualization part of 3D. Let's see, where's my camera rig? I think I have it here. Well, it's not really assembled right now, but let me just show it with a super cam. Maybe I should, well, that works. Maybe I can do like this, and you see a little bit more. So this is just, I mean, I'm trying now, and this will act as a, what's it called, a teleprompter. So I will put like a screen down here, and the screen will reflect on a mirror here, and the mirror is gonna sit on this part. So I'm just like figuring all that out. And that will generate a model that you can, well, a camera, which I can talk into like this, and I can read text in front. You won't be able to see it, but I can see it. So that's why I'm building that, and that's why I'm also showing you how I can take this product, visualize it before printing it, and just, well, more or less make cool images, because we all want to do that. Thanks, Leo. I'm not that good. So if you missed it, I will just jump into Fusion 360 and the project here that I showed you guys. Not sure that everyone picked it up, but this is the final, like, big parts. So this is the full assembly. I just show you like these parts here. Yeah, these parts. Oh, sorry, you can't see. So it showing you the model here. So I was just like showing you these parts here, part of this assembly or a sub part of this model. And I think that I kind of think that's all I have to show when it comes to like 3D Studio Max. We do renders here. We can save some images. My point being that sometimes it's necessary to do like real 3D images, and let's just see here. Sorry. And it's yeah, it's just part of the job as making 3D models and working with 3D. Now, as I showed you in the beginning, there are some pretty nice tools in Fusion 360 already. And if you want, we can go through them again, or if you want, we can start talking about 3D printing instead of like 3D visualization.